which one is Boogie and which one is Erin. Sweetie! Good
morning! Good morning, you guys. As you can see, we have a very, very special guest. Boogie, I think you wanted to share a story with us today.
What's your story, Boogie?
Oh, well, I was supposed to tell you guys about my past today.
About your past?
Yeah.
What do you want to tell us about your past, Boogie?
Before I was with mamas, I had not one, not two, not three, but 4 owners. And well, now I'm very grateful because mamas really loved me. I don't quite remember everything that happened in my past, but I do remember that when I don't see my mamas in my sight, I freak out and I start to cry.
I cry really loud.
And when I cry, I sound like a cat.
Like a really loud cat. And also, I am from Russia.
Yeah, I was actually not born in the US.
I am an immigrant like Mama S.
Yeah.
And I have back problems like Mama E.
And I love mamas.
And
sleep,
I love to eat.
Snuggles, eat, kettlebell, my best friend Zoe. And that's all I have for today.
And now I'm gonna go back to bed.
Wow, Boogie, that was so good. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. Okay. Good boy.
You guys,
Wow.
isn't it crazy that we're his 5th set of owners?
I have so much hair on me.
We're his 5th set of owners. Erin's currently brushing Sergeant's hair off. But you know, this is a perfect start for today's topic because you know we just talked about Boogie's past in order to shed some light on it. But the truth is that so many people like either hinder their future success by clinging to their past glory days, which are no longer relevant, or too many people are running on a script that they've been running on for years, and you know they're using the past to dictate their future instead of taking action. And you know, both of these things are going to equally hinder your progress, which will over time hinder your success. So, you know, we want to just shed some light on both of these things. But first we want to, you know, we want to start by asking you a question of when was a time in your life when you felt at your best? Like, when was it? And why did you feel at your best? Like, did you live in a certain space? Did you just accomplish something? Did you weigh a certain amount? Like, you know, let's talk about it. When was the time in your life that you felt that you were literally like in your glory days?
I also have a question that is different than that, but we'll wait for you to respond on that. But actually, while you're responding, because we're probably delayed a second on your end, I want to ask also for you to think back to high school. And I want you to think about the people you knew in high school. Maybe you were in a small school. Maybe I know my school, my graduating class alone was like 500 people or more.
Oh wow.
And so, our school was like close to 2,000 people. It was like a small college campus. There was literally multiple buildings. And I want you to think back to when you were in high school and the people that you knew, and kind of the cliques that develop right in high school when we're all trying to figure out who we are and who we want to be and all of that, and who were the popular kids and who were the jocks and who were the nerdy kids and who were the artsy kids, and think about then the people that you have seen since high school. Maybe you have contact with them, maybe you don't. But I know on social media we have the option to see a lot of things, people that we went to high school with and whatnot, and see how there's always the people who are the I used to be's, and they live in high school land, and their accomplishments from however long ago, being completely unhappy with where they're at now. And the topic of today's episode is your past doesn't dictate your future. So let's read some of the answers from the question. You don't really need a response to mine. I just wanted you to think about it. Because we all know those people who are trying to continue finding happiness in things they had accomplished in the past, though they're nowhere near that. If you saw them or talked to them, you would have no idea that that's what they had accomplished, other than the fact that they told you about it. Lieutenant on my high school dance team. Mentally was when I graduated with my master's. Physically is current. That's awesome. That's Jeanette. Lauren, right now I've changed my life for the better, making progress on personal goals and conquering fitness goals. These are the days, baby. Brittany, when I graduated college and felt so successful. What made you feel successful? Crystal, but even in high school, my mindset wasn't right, wasn't out yet, was afraid to be myself. Overall, 100% now. This is awesome. When I'm physical.
When I'm not at my physical best.
Not at my physical best, but at my mental best, okay? Which will lead to learning daily, and the most important is the most important, and the rest falls in place. First 2 years of college, social and active in my school, and had the best grades. I was helping a lot of people with tutoring. 30, I think that means at age 30, I lost all my baby weight from 2 kids and had met my goals. My lifestyle was on target. You said was, which leads me to believe, Mindy, that you feel as though maybe it's not currently. But that's what we have so far.
Today's going to be transformative to some people. You just watch. So here are some things that we're noticing, and Brittany Burns, I'm looking forward for your answer to come in, but if we want to see trends, right? Like, when do people normally feel like they were at their best? Just by looking at your answers, okay? You answered it based off of, 1, your level of accomplishment, right? Like you were saying, like in college, like I accomplished a certain degree, right? The feeling of accomplishment, the value that you added to other people. Also, how you felt and looked. All these three things combined, and I love it because from my own personal experience, it is the harmonization of all of those 3. So now, I love this group so much because, for one, I know that so many of you guys are on your journey and are doing it correctly on the right path, and we're extremely grateful and humbled and honored to be your guide in this. But you know that you're doing things right when your best days are right now. But that is not for most people. Until you get to a point where like your best days is right now, and like things only keep getting better and you're literally like wine, right? Like as the days go on, things only keep getting better for most people. That's not the case. And that is because they dwell on the past, because they either got to a point where they reached a level of accomplishment and then they lost sight of it, just because they lost focus. And this is when we hear things happen, life happen. You just lost focus, you got distracted. It could be positive distractions, like kids, yeah, but you know, if you are not 100% equipped with controlling your time in a certain way, some things are going to start sliding by. So, like, I'm gonna repeat it again. In order for you to feel like you're at your best, you're gonna need to take into consideration a certain level of accomplishment, the value that you're adding to other people, and how you feel inside and look on the outside in a harmonized way. Okay, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you know, I want to differentiate between the word best and the word potential. Because best is something that always is. There was always a best, or is a best, right? There's always a best somewhere at some point. That doesn't mean that you're satisfied with what your best has been. But that's the difference between current best and full potential.
Amen to that.
Because Tiffany said, I felt like I've never been at my best. And I was thinking, I was like, you have to have had a best at some point. Your best might feel to you not where you want to be, but that's because you know your potential exceeds your best. Right? And so it's important to know that and to look at, where have I been my best? And if you want to exceed that, you're then reaching towards a higher potential, right? A new best, right? And it's also good to remind ourselves, when we don't meet the new best all the time, that's a learning opportunity to figure out what needs to be adjusted to reach a new best, right? It's not a bad thing. It just depends on what you do with it. And I wrote down a couple of words that I think really just make us feel happy. And when we feel happy, that oftentimes is signifies that we are doing our best, right? Or our best then leads to us being happier, because the two words that I wrote down is, one, we feel accomplished, like you said, right? We've achieved something that was difficult to overcome, and so we feel a sense of accomplishment, and that makes us happy, right? Whether it's, you know, you lost 20 pounds and now you feel accomplished, it's not about the 20 pounds. It's about who you became to get there, who you became to overcome and lose the 20 pounds, right? Now, let me ask you, are you happy if you regain it? No. Because now you feel like whatever you did to get it, you didn't become the right person, right? And that then also goes into your sense of fulfillment. I think that the other word that I wrote down, which I think makes us happy, is contribution. And this also goes with weight loss, right? Like oftentimes when we want to lose weight, we also feel like we're making a contribution to the people around us by becoming a better person, by showing up better in life for your job, for your family, for whatever. You're contributing to the belief systems and the behaviors that your children adapt, because you're setting a good example. You're contributing to their future, right? You're contributing to your own future. You're contributing maybe because you've been so inspired by accomplishing within your own journey that you now can inspire and motivate and help others to achieve the same sense of freedom and accomplishment that you have, contributing, right? I don't know where I'm going with this, but I felt like it was a good add-on.
Yeah, sense of contribution, absolutely. Do you have any more points to go over?
Not yet. But Brittany did reply if you wanted to hear it.
Yes, I do.
Oh wow, there's a lot of things.
So this is good because we're starting to share some stories, and I want to transition to our next point.
Making people laugh, contributing. Okay, so making other people feel good makes us feel fulfilled, like we've contributed, right? Successful because my mind was in the right place and my past was behind me and I felt like I finally moved forward mentally, physically, proving that I can do something when I was always told I was going nowhere, overcoming.
Yep.
Never at my physical best. Figure out where your best was. And I mean, yeah, you have an adversity, and we feel for you. You have a good attitude, though, not using that as an excuse, but as a motivator.
So, there is 3 types of people in the room and who will be listening back to this, okay? Most of you guys are listening right now, and I love it. You feel like right now you are at your best, working towards reaching your potential. This is how you know that you're in alignment, right? And the goal is to have everybody feel this way, okay? But that is not the case, because then there is 2 other groups of people, right? There is the other group of people that keep on dwelling on the past, and they're so far off from it right now. So look, here's the thing. Like, certain life events happen. Something that I hear so often is, let's say like an ex-athlete who is now extremely overweight keeps dwelling about the fact that they were so good at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter how good you were right now. Like, you're not. Right now, you need to just get healthy. However, it doesn't matter what I think. It only matters what you think about your own life. However, so many people are so far off from, let's not even talk about your potential, because you have to be at your current best right now in order to be on the path to your full potential. But so many people are so stuck from being in a better place because they keep on celebrating their past successes instead of working towards their personal best. Okay? So this is not like, if you're catching yourself hearing this and you're like, shit, like, she just spoke to me, like, take a second to analyze that.
I think that always makes me think about, like, the jocks in high school, right? Like,
or the popular
American
girls.
Right. However, I think that in this community too, it's also very important to recognize the fact that we oftentimes will think that nurture is a reason to use as an excuse as to why we can't get to where we want to be.
Right.
For example, I watched my mom for, as long as I can remember, like, always, buying fat-free foods and being, like, getting all the health foods and, trying to be conscious of what she's eating and how much so she can lose weight. Like, and so I can take that and it can be like, oh yeah, well, my mom, or, my mom ate Taco Bell when she was pregnant with me, so now I'm addicted to Taco Bell. Like, I think that oftentimes we think that we can, like, these are valid, right? And they could be. That doesn't mean you can't overcome them. And so I think it's important to recognize both sides of that past history. Maybe you did accomplish something great. You can't live there. Yesterday's victories don't mean shit today.
Yeah.
Right? You won yesterday? Great. You won 10 years ago? Great. But where are you at now is what matters, because yesterday's gone. It's never coming back.
And so many people it's not I don't think it's a big problem in this group, to be honest, because we keep it pretty real. But we want to acknowledge that. And of course, for anybody who's new, who's listening, like if you were to listen to this and hear it, it's probably going to hurt a little bit. But the truth is that the past does not matter. It doesn't matter. And so many people like keep on bragging about what they used to be, how much they used to weigh. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, because right now it is not applied. And therefore it is in misalignment. So like, I think it's because deep down, like, we want to feel good about ourselves. But the reality is that credit is something that has to be earned. And you don't deserve the credit if you're not where you used to be.
And honestly, if you deserve the credit, you don't seek it out.
Mm-hmm. Because you're working towards your potential, which you're way far off from.
If you've actually, truly, genuinely accomplished something that you feel so amazing about, your actions and your results speak more than you need to.
Yeah.
And at that point, you actually recognize, I don't need to say shit.
So this is what I would call, like, these would be the people who I would call stuck. But you are stuck in your past life, and the past no longer matters. Like Sterling just said, move forward, not backward. Like, they're stuck because they're living backward, but there's no such thing. It's irrelevant.
And in this community, I don't think it's so much as bragging about where you used to be. I think it's being disappointed in where you are versus where you used to be.
Yeah.
But if you can let go of that, and you can let go of the where I used to be. Oh, I used to be fit. I used to be 140 pounds. I used to have a flat tummy. I used to have nice legs. I used to not have cellulite. It doesn't matter. Like, let's go forward, right? Because you're stuck, right? Sarit said that you're stuck. And you have to let that go and accept, like we talked about yesterday in the episode, right? Is accepting where you're currently at and understanding that that's all right, right? That's okay. Life is ebb and flow, right? We're like this. We're never linear.
And then also for anybody who's like feeling stuck per se, I want to give you some grace, and I want to tell you to get over comparing yourself to who you used to be. Like, I used to not have cellulite. Like, the reason why you're probably struggling is because you're realizing how misaligned you are, and you are at a state of what we call paralysis by overanalysis. You're like, I'm so far off, and you just keep dwelling on the past, and you're too scared to take action because you know how misaligned you are, rather than working toward the future. So many people are stuck because they compare themselves to who they used to be, if back in the day was in their glory days. So if it's you, like, stop comparing yourself to who you used to be, because that's not serving you.
Or your thought is stuck on the cellulite and you get what you think about.
Yeah.
So the more thoughts you have about what you don't like about you or what you want to improve, that's not where you want it to be. Right? The terms like, I'm fat, I have cellulite, I got rolls, I got the spare tire, I got whatever, right? Don't focus on that. Like, take the focus away from there. And instead of going backwards to say, I want to be how I used to be, go forwards and say, I'm creating a new me. Mm-hmm. Because you'll never be that person again.
No. 0
times ever will you be who you were 10 years ago. Because 10 years is gone. Right?
For better or for worse, you guys.
Yes, totally.
Right? So, the next point is for people who, let's say, had trauma in their life. Right? This kind of goes back to what we were just on, the point of letting your trauma dictate your future. Man, and therapy is amazing, and I want you guys to know that, but I personally struggle with therapy because it overanalyzes the past instead of focusing on the future. And when you overanalyze the past instead of focusing on creating your future, you're going to get to the same spot of feeling overwhelmed and judging yourself instead of taking action. Right? Like, I totally get therapy as part of healing, right? But like, so many people go to therapy for years and wonder why they need more therapy. Well, guess what? You're reliving your past trauma. Of course you will need therapy. Instead, focus on creating the future, right? And I see that happening so many times that, you know, like, people just dwell on bad shit that happened from their past. Guess what? This is no longer the past. There is only one way to recreate your future, and it's called to live in the present. So if you keep reliving in the past, your present will become your past. And you're not gonna get anywhere. So I just wanted to bring this up because I see that happen way too often in society. I don't think it's a big thing in this group, but you know, if there's something that, you know, some kind of traumatic event that is related to, you know, how you're acting up, like, let it go. Don't let it define you. Like, remember that it happened, be humble by it, but don't let it define you.
Traumatic events are real and how they affect us subconsciously. But when you recognize that it does not get to define you, then you can move past it and begin taking the steps. And some traumas are more aggressive than other traumas. So depending on, you know, it's not an excuse to not go the direction you want to go. Yes, it is an obstacle and it is an adversity. But the question you have to ask yourself is, am I going to let this control me and dictate who I become? Right. Or am I going to take the steps to move past it, not use it as an excuse, and then take the steps forward to better myself? And, you know, there's the people who are stuck in yesterday land, and then there's the mañana people who are like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, right? The fact is that all we have literally is this moment. Oh, that one's gone. Now all we have is this one. Oh, that one's gone, right? 2 seconds ago, we'll never get it back. The last sentence I just said, that time will never come back again, right? So literally all we have is here and now. And if you keep pushing things off until the next day, right? So there's the people who are behind, who are stuck in yesterday land. And then there's the people who will push everything until the next day. Oh, after the next holiday. Oh, on Monday. Oh, after my birthday. Oh, after the weekend. Or after whatever, right? Rather than starting now, because that's all we got. And today is all we have. And I think that a lot of times we get tripped up too on like everything that we have to do rather than focusing on what can I just do today?
Yep.
What can I just do today? Let me just not just get through today, but let me see how I can crush today. And that's it. It's all I have to focus on. And if I wake up tomorrow, if I'm blessed enough to wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna crush that one. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on what I can do today.
Yep. So, you know, just to reel in everything that we talked about today, and just give you some tools, ask yourself this question, like, am I currently at my personal best? Right? Like, again, based off of the discussion that we had, being at your personal best will relate to what level of accomplishment you're getting in your life right now, the value and the contribution that you're providing to your loved ones and to your community, and how you feel on the inside and how you look externally, right? This will help you define whether you are currently at your best or whether you're not. Now, if you are, congratulations, which many of you guys are in the room right now are. That's how you know that you're on the right path. You want to be at your current best, working towards your full potential. Okay, that's how you know that you're in alignment. However, most people are not in alignment. Okay, so if you're not currently at your personal best, and this is something that we talked about yesterday, step one is to create awareness, right? Like, so you want to become aware, right? Like with regards to accomplishment, like, are you accomplishing something on a daily basis? Are you adding value to yourself, to somebody else, to your community, right? And how do you feel about living inside you and when you look at yourself in the mirror, right? Like if there is misalignment, then you're not at your personal best. And know that that's okay. Most people are there. Few people are currently at their personal best working towards their future. But most people are completely misaligned. So look, instead of focusing on all the things that I have to do right now, just like what typical diets will preach, stop eating carbs, do cardio for 2 hours, drink a gallon of water. You want to focus on one thing at a time, okay? Alignment takes time. And for you, that might be hard to hear, that it takes time. But that's the only way that you're going to reach your personal best, because you want to sustain and increase your level of accomplishment, the value that you're adding, and how you feel and look, okay? It's all about moving forward. However, you have to get into alignment first in order to move forward, right? So if you're not there, ask yourself, why? As far as accomplishment, what am I not doing to feel accomplished? Become aware, get real with yourself, right? The second thing, ask, what value am I adding to myself or to the people around me? Look, the reality is, if you are adding all the value to other people, but you're not adding value to yourself, there's misalignment.
Are you actually adding value to other people though?
Right.
At that point? If you're not adding value to yourself, are you adding the best value you could be
Not
adding?
the best value, no, because you're not at your best. You're adding value. Way too many people in this room are busy adding value to their clients, to their kids.
That's fair.
But they don't take care of themselves.
That's fair.
So you're going to feel misaligned because you're not adding all the value that you could be adding, right? And also how you feel about yourself. But again, that will be in complete alignment with the value that you're adding.
Misalignment also leads to anxiety. Can we talk for a second about how many people say they want to lose weight but then won't do what they need to do to get it? So it causes confusion in your brain because you think you want something, but really you're not ready, you're not committed. And so you actually, because of that misalignment, you get anxiety and you're like frustrated that you try a diet, but then it doesn't, like, it works maybe short term. And maybe you get some results, but then you go backwards and you do this flip-flop and this yo-yo. Something is going wrong somewhere. There's misalignment in either the approach you're using or your mindset or your level of commitment to yourself, or the reason why you don't have is strong enough, or the reason why you have is not strong enough. Some kind of misalignment, and it causes frustration and anxiety, and then,
I definitely want to have a topic about that because depression and anxiety is a big thing in our community. I know that based off of the surveys that we send out to people. And that is a global issue as well. Like, don't even let me get started on that. So that...
And a lot of it's lifestyle related. A lot of it,
Yep.
You shouldn't have to take a fucking medicine, another goddamn pill for being sad. You're sad because of all these things that we talked about. You're sad because you don't feel accomplished. You're sad because you're not contributing. You're sad because you know you're not at your best. And you feel like you haven't been able to find the path to your best.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what makes us sad, and sad. Depression is another word for being sad.
It's chronic sadness.
It's chronic sadness. And it can definitely be helped. I don't want to say treated or fixed. Nothing's wrong with you. You just haven't found the right path, right?
Healed.
And I mean, if you're watching this, we're so grateful that you're here, and we encourage you to keep watching this because it will help you.
Yeah, we're so glad that you're watching this, because by watching this, you're gonna go to your day feeling accomplished because you learned something, you surrounded yourself in a good environment, and you know that you're gonna do at least one thing better, right?
By the way, pills probably just actually make that worse. You notice whenever you
I
see
know,
a commercial,
that's why we really need to have a topic about that, because otherwise we're gonna go on tangents.
But I just want to say that when you see a commercial, the list of side effects are greater than the what it's supposed to be treating. That's
Yep.
kind of weird to me.
Yep.
Anyways.
So remember, if you're not currently at your personal best, that's okay. However, take not just one moment. This will require a few moments, and ask yourself why. Right? Being at your personal best is directly correlated to your current level of accomplishment, the value that you add to yourself and your community. If you don't add value to yourself, you can't add to your community, because this is like a cup. When the cup empties, there is nothing that we can pour out.
If you don't keep filling up your own cup, you ain't got nothing else to give to others.
Right?
So ask yourself, what would make me feel accomplished?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even if it's just a small thing, right? Don't say, oh, losing 100 pounds. That's just overwhelming. Like, give yourself something actionable that is just dependent on the action that you take. What kind of action can I take today that will make me feel accomplished? Maybe it's a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
Because you've been sitting on the couch eating potato chips and hot Cheetos.
For some people, it might just be to get out of bed. If you're chronically depressed, then guess what?
Yeah.
Getting out of bed and making yourself a cup of coffee is accomplishment.
And taking a shower and feeling clean.
Right. And
Right.
that's why the weight loss journey looks different for everybody, because you can't relate it to, like, everybody relates weight loss journey to somebody who's already like mentally in alignment, ready 100%, like has no like past trauma and just fully committed 100%. Guess what? Like, we gotta put a lot of work to just get to that place, right? And it looks different for everybody. So that's a great question. What will make you feel accomplished today? Not 1 year from now, because 1 year from now, you're gonna be a completely different person. But that will be based off of the level of accomplishment that you will make between now and then. And that's why your present matters so much, because the only way to dictate your future is what you do today. Not what you did 8 years ago. That don't matter.
And make the answer to that question an action, not an outcome. An action.
Yeah.
You're not going to be happy when you lose 20 pounds. You're going to be happy when you've created the person inside that you need to become, who is 20 pounds lighter and stays there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the action that you take will dictate the outcome. So make that answer an action, not an outcome.
Yeah. And you know, if you're not at a point of complete alignment right now, which most people are not, then, you know, get real with yourself and ask what would being my best right now look like. So that's like the long road ahead, reaching to alignment. Once you are in alignment, then, you know, it's always doing the same thing, like at greater levels. Everybody wants to be at greater levels, but most people are living misaligned. Don't try to be great when you're just working on being better. And that's why in this group, like the all or nothing mentality is a big thing, and we're gonna keep on calling it out if you're there, because if you're working on being better, stop trying to be best, because that's just unrealistic. And by having this expectation, you're cutting yourself short, because you're gonna get paralyzed by overthinking and having all these unrealistic expectations. All you have is right now. So if by thinking about what your best would look like, or accomplishing your best when you need to get better at getting better, then like there's a complete misalignment. And I think that's why people are depressed, because they're just completely misaligned.
Yeah.
And that's because they're unaware. And that's the biggest thing.
We're also way too vague.
Yeah.
We're also way too vague on what we want to accomplish.
But I think it's because there's not enough education, right? There's not enough education, and man, and people are soft, like emotionally, people are soft. Like, get vulnerable, get real with yourself. If it doesn't like make you feel a certain way, like actually feel like either the feeling of fear or the feeling of like complete nirvana, then guess what? You haven't dug deep enough. You haven't. Okay? So do these exercises get real?
And I read one thing, and I just want to like say really quickly too, if you're thinking about the question is what can I do today that would make me feel accomplished, don't just say workout. Don't just say keep my nutrition on point. What does that even mean?
What does that look like?
Get like specific, like, oh, I ate X number of servings of veggies, or I drank X number of ounces of water, or I completed 30 minutes of physical activity intentionally that got me sweaty and whatever, right? Like, get really specific with it and then get her done. Because if you're vague and it's like, oh, my nutrition was on point, that could mean anything inside your brain. Right? Because we think we know what to do, but until we actually get specific and write it down, we're going to fall off every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I want to make a lot of money. What does that even mean? $100,000? $1 million? $100 million? $5? Like, get specific. Okay, that's all I have to say. Community Builder Challenge?
Community Builder Challenge is happening and it is live. So for one, you guys, we talk about things that just have to be talked about because
a lot of people won't.
And you look, we need to be more educated, and we also need to get better because of everything that's currently happening in the world. Look, 2020 started with the coronavirus. We're now getting into like a complete social war against one another. Like, what the heck, you guys? Like, we might have civil war. Why? Because people are just not focusing on the right things because they're just not complete with themselves. Right? We all want to feel accomplished. We all want to add contribution. We all want to feel good deep down. But guess what? Respect is something that has to be earned. And yes, some, previous social constructs, right, like in our history, have not provided equal opportunity for everybody. However, so many people are now creating a segregation because they're dwelling on the past.
Right.
Instead, earn respect and let's fucking move forward, right? That's what the greatest people in life are doing.
Man.
Right? So this is why we have this show, to provide you a safe environment that allows you to think differently so you can live a better life, because we truly believe that this is what we all need. And besides, if you don't know this by now, we're on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. So look, if you found today's episode powerful, useful, if you learned one new thing, if you had one aha moment, if something that we said either made you cringe or make you rejoice or made you like think or feel, then guess what? It added value to you. So in return, we're asking a few things, okay? For one, share it. Share it with people that on your wall, with people who will benefit from it. Tag us so we can see it, okay? Because we want to reward you for it, okay? As well as invite people into this group so that we can create an even bigger group and a bigger impact on more people, so that we can all live a better life. Because we know that the shit that we say here, so many people have to hear. So many people. Look, there's a civil war happening. Chronic illness is on the rise, all due to lifestyle issues. If we were to just think differently and act differently, none of this will happen.
It's all acting from a
place of fear,
hate.
Yeah,
from a place of hate.
But how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself?
Absolutely, we talked about that.
Yeah,
I think on Monday. But there's one other thing I want to ask you guys. You guys mean a ton to us. And we can sit here and we can say anything we want about how we tell the truth and what we say is the best, and which actually I wouldn't even say, but because,
and that's up to you to decide.
Yeah, right. Because that's only my own opinion. But, you know, if you guys really, truly do find value in this, if you've coached with us in any way, shape, or form, a free program, a transformation, challenge, you know, the Burn Zone, Inner Circle, any of these programs that we offer, or if you just show up to these lives consistently and you just absorb for free, that's amazing, great. If you can go to our Erin and Sarit business page and leave us a review, that would be absolutely amazing, and we'll be so grateful for it, because when people show up there, we can say whatever we want about ourselves, right? But it doesn't matter unless people see that somebody else thinks that what we have to offer is valuable. And so what you say means a great deal more than what we would say about ourselves. And also it's better because it looks weird when you just say how awesome you are. Even if you have the confidence.
I wanna. You know what? We will add our business page on the wall today.
I'll make a post. Yeah, I'll make a post and I'll re-ask you guys. So thank you so much for anybody who does that in advance.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate you for showing up for yourself. You can't show up for anybody else if you don't show up for yourself. So you already started off the day right. Congratulations. Like we said. We want to reward you for the community challenge, but the reason why we do these is because we really want to add more value to more people. So if you learned at least one thing today, or you just connected with us on a deeper level, please show us some love, share the video, please tag us, and also invite as many of your friends into the room so that we can create a bigger, bolder community that can make a more positive impact than any other community in the world, because we know that this community is fucking rad. And come on, like, you know that this community is rad. Comment yes if you know that this community is rad right now.
And
let me get a hell yes.
And what we're doing too is rewarding first and second place for the people who do share and tag us, and then invite friends to the Erin and Sarit public Facebook group, which is where we go live. For first place winner, they're getting X Endurance Lean Plus product and a 30-minute coaching strategy session. Second place is getting a 30-minute coaching strategy session for free. Guys, so thank you so much. We see the yeses and the hell yeses coming in, and that's truly amazing. And, you know, we cannot even begin to describe the amount of gratitude that we have for you guys showing up. And we will forever continue to remind you that you're awesome, and that as long as you keep showing up, you can keep making forward progress.
Yeah, amazing. And for one, thank you so much for those kind words. But like, this community is already fucking rad, right? And excuse my language, but I don't even
Not
care.
excused.
But here's the thing, like, in order for it to grow, we're doing everything that we can to make it grow, but we need your help so that we can make an even bigger impact. Like, I want this group to be the most well-known group in the fucking world, wouldn't you?
Can somebody help Laura?
If so, then you need to take some responsibility, and please just invite some people. Even if it's just 10 people, like, you know, don't think about like big numbers. Just make an impact on one person. One person. It all starts with you.
Can somebody, Tammy or Jeanette's a pro at sharing, or Lauren help Laura figure out how to share it? I love the word fuck. It adds dramatic fucking effect. It's amazing.
I think Americans love that word. My mom always says Americans curse all the time.
You know what? Who decided that they're curse words anyways?
Sure.
They're just more words, right?
Sure.
Who decided that shit was a bad word and you should say poop instead?
Yeah. I think that using limiting beliefs is worse than curses, but we'll have another topic for that. Anyways, you guys,
have a great day.
You're amazing. Have an amazing day. We will catch you tomorrow on the flip side at 6:30 a.m. Do your thing. Help us grow this community. We're extremely grateful for you. Have a great day.
Bye.